Sam.
Roger.
Valence.
Valence, we're all here.
We're all here. Well, we're back. We're here. Halcyon Daze, Channel 1.
Yeah.
Roger, Sam, Paul and Valence.
Halcyon Daze. Now, it's not often that we discuss this. The meaning of Halcyon Daze.
Yeah.
And I think if any show epitomizes the name it was given, it will be this show here. It is going to be idyllic. It is going to send you into a slumber. If you're driving a car right now,
This is not...
be careful is all I'm going to say. Caution advised. Because things are going to go so smoothly. Not a single syntactical error will be made. Will it, Roger?
I can't guarantee.
I can guarantee. I can guarantee. You know why I can guarantee? Because I can.
What if I
This is
screw up?
Halcyon Daze.
What if I screw
and
up?
you're here with us.
What if I
It's
screw up?
me, Sam Paul, Roger, and Valence. What is that was too good. That I don't think we want to identify with that. That's not really the tone here.
What do you mean?
It's a little bit too polished, don't you think? The people who have been tuning in won't have been tuning in. They can't have been tuning in for the kind of polished performance that was just given.
No.
And so I think
Let's
we
dial
have
it back.
to keep it,
Let's dial it back.
at a lower quality for their sake. They're nervous, they're unsettled. They want things to remain the same. And we're not going to threaten that because this is Halcyon Daze and they are with us. Roger, any news?
News.
No news. Roger,
It was hot on the weekend.
what news?
How's that for news?
That's great news.
Did you know that?
Weather news. Sometimes it's hot,
Yep.
sometimes it's cold,
Yep.
sometimes it's not. Now, Roger, I recently had a haircut.
Oh yeah?
Now, I don't want to go on about it because I think...
Well, let's just move on then.
I just want to make one point. I don't want
Let's
to go
not
on...
dwell on the past.
I don't want to dwell on it because I think we're all pretty familiar with that routine. Sit down, get a haircut, pay for it, get out. Now, the one thing I do want to mention though, in my recent haircut, I was sitting in the chair, it was all happening, by that I mean a haircut, and my hairdresser all of a sudden asks, "Are you happy with your sideburns?" I was floored. I don't know if you've encountered this before. I certainly hadn't. What do you say to that?
Have they
What
done,
can one say to that?
Have they done anything
I said
to
I
your
hadn't
sideburns?
thought much about it.
Have they done anything to your sideburns? in
No,
the past?
nothing. It was just what would you like to have done with your sideburns, if anything?
Is the implication that your sideburns are not good enough and that you
I've
shouldn't
wondered.
be happy?
I've certainly wondered. She did follow it up with they are average.
What?
By that, I hoped she meant
Length?
normal as opposed to mediocre and appeal. But you never know. Yeah.
Did you get them?
I thought it was a curiosity. Maybe
you-
maybe not so curious. after all.
Did you let her at them?
I don't know. She said something like,
What?
I'll just like grade them or something. I'm not sure what happens in that
Did she
chair.
use scissors on your
I
sideburns?
walk in with long hair and well,
You're conscious through it, right? You're not getting like general anesthetic before your haircuts.
I get quite tired in the chair. It's quite boring, to be honest.
So you don't know whether she cut your sideburns or not?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. I've never paid attention to your sideburns, so I can't really tell you if they're different to last week.
No, I can't say for sure either way either. Now, 2020.
2020. Almost over.
Almost over. 2020. Something we've missed this year that's been delayed is the Summer Olympics.
Mm.
Japan, unfortunately, had to reschedule.
When did they reschedule to?
I think 2021.
Does that mean all of
there's-
the next one's going to be in 2025, or is it still going to be 2024?
I doubt they'd do that. I think
They
would-
can't mess up that
Yeah,
tradition.
they couldn't mess that up, I wouldn't think. But something that we won't miss and will miss at the same time. Now, if you're thinking that's cryptic, hold on. I'll provide a little bit more information. Something that we won't miss, but we will miss, is a sport which hasn't been in the Olympics for a very long time.
Naked wrestling. Is it naked
when was
wrestling?
that? Was that in the...
It
I
was
think
with
we will
with
miss
the
that
Greeks.
one.
With the Greeks.
Unambiguously.
With the Greeks.
What?
When the
Oh,
Greeks were doing the Olympics, they did naked wrestling.
When was that?
That's how it started, like 2,000 years ago.
No, that's not what I had in mind, the naked wrestling.
Look, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, so I don't know where your head's at, but get your head out the gutter.
Okay.
Into the naked wrestling.
I've been
Also chariot
tossed
racing.
onto my back
Also chariot
like
racing.
a wrestler,
Around the Colosseum.
too conscious of his undercarriage to focus on the fight. Plunge for distance is an event that was only held in the 1904 Summer Olympics, with a popularity that stretches back like a century and a half, whereby you stand at the edge of a swimming pool. So there's like a foot of water between where your feet are and the surface of the water. Did I say that correctly? There's a foot between the water surface and your feet.
So you're a foot outside the pool.
You're a foot above the water. You swing your arms, jump in.
Uh-huh.
You do not attempt to propel yourself forward using your arms or legs, and instead allow yourself to motionlessly glide through the water for up to 60 seconds face down.
So you dive into the pool?
You dive into the pool, you
And then you
see
can't-
how far you can get without moving your arms or your legs.
So you just dive into the pool and then there's no moving arms and legs. You see how far you can go with that single movement of the dive.
Yes, and now the distance calculated is from the furthest point of your body to the wall.
Right.
So if your arms are outstretched in front of you, from your fingertips.
Yeah, I can see why they eliminated this after one round.
It was criticised as being an unathletic sport, seen to favour people with higher body fats.
Really?
Body fat. What's the
Why? Body mass
fat
index?
body mass index? Well, I guess the fat helps.
Yeah. So what, you
in
sink?
flotation or
You,
something.
you sink a bit more?
I was guessing that you would be more buoyant.
Why do you want to be buoyant? I imagine you'd want to stay at the bottom. So you can stay underwater for as long as possible, gliding. Or do you just...
Yeah, no, that's actually...
Is it literally you just dive into the pool and then eventually you float to the surface and then you still got 30 seconds to go and you're just floating like a corpse along this pool?
Well, I think that's why people...
and the top of the water.
That's why it's kind of amazing that it actually got into any Olympics. Because
Wow.
apparently, like, you could just be sitting there for like tens of seconds watching someone barely moving. Like, I was... there's some report of it considering the speed to be that of a snail, with someone just face down in the water and you're waiting
Looking
for
like
the
they're
60
dead.
seconds to be up.
Looking like they did. Wow.
So basically what it is it's a lame version of long jump.
Wow.
Yeah, a very slow version. It's like a spaceship docking with the
And now, do they
International
do-
Space
do they-
Station. It takes forever. What should be exciting is just infuriatingly slow.
Do they do this in... like, I don't know much about 1904 Olympics, so I don't know what the setup was like, but do they do this in an indoor swimming pool?
I don't know, but my guess would be that they're
Or they're going and
outdoor
doing
swimming
this-
pools.
Outdoor? Imagine if there's a really strong gust and you manage to dive
Oh,
in,
well,
and then
actually-
you start blowing backwards, and you end up all the way back at the beginning because you're not allowed to move, right?
Now there are things
What if
such
there's
as
currents?
walls to help with that kind of a thing, but
Yeah, but if there's a current going against you,
a current, it's a swimming pool. How many
yeah, but if
currents
it's
are you
out,
familiar with?
if it's outdoor, then there can be wind that blows you.
Yeah,
in a
well,
certain
this is
direction.
what I'm saying. That's what walls are for. Windbreaks.
Well, then it's not really an outdoor pool.
What? You can have outdoor pools that have
With
walls
walls.
around them. Okay, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Still
that
letting the
does
wind in.
raise an interesting detail though here,
What?
which is that participants were required to plunge alone because apparently they couldn't control their direction. And so, and so apparently you could have people plunging together. They'd be knocking heads. They'd be bumping into each other. A little bit like bumper cars, except for it's much slower. It's an Olympic event, and the people crying are very much adults.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely see why this got eliminated after one Olympics.
Yes, it does.
But it was
quite
around for
curious.
150 years before that. You said.
Well, yeah, kind of. Those dates aren't.
You made them up.
No, they weren't made up. The height of the popularity was supposedly in the 19th and early 20th century.
Wow.
So, but you know, sports are interesting. I think that's the takeaway.
Fascinating.
Sports are really, really, really weird. There is another example of a weird sport called swimming.
Very weird. Still in the Olympics.
Still in.
Speaking
the
of
Olympics.
sports,
Let's go to a song. This is Dealing Out of Trouble by the Caramel Kid. And that was Dealing Out of Trouble by the Caramel Kid. Well, Roger, I can't wait to hear what you've got
ooh,
coming.
bringing some more of the personality and the personal stories into the radio show.
I
Yeah.
want to vomit.
So,
This might be a monologue. Watch out, guys.
no, well, I'm
Roger's
actually
on a
going to.
rampage.
It's definitely not going to be a monologue because I'm actually posing a question to you, Sam.
Yeah, I may not answer. Go on, Roger. I gave all that info on my sideburns, so.
Well, I was actually listening to another radio show this morning, and basically stole this idea from them.
Okay.
When I was in year 5 or 6 at school, high school,
Okay.
I joined the debate club,
Okay.
and so the debate club, you get on a team. There's 3 people on
You
a team.
debate on
You
the
eat-
debate club,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
For and against. You got 3 minutes to speak, and then it goes to the other side, and you swap 3 times.
I think most
And,
people are aware.
Yeah. So I participated on the debate night. We went through, and then at the end, the teacher was giving us some feedback about how we did. Now I was about 11 at the time, so my way of asking for feedback
So quite impressionable.
Quite
presumably quite sensitive to the feedback he's just requested.
Yep. So my way of asking for
Brash,
feedback.
in a way, you might say, being so sensitive to ask for feedback.
Right. And I was 11. I don't ask for feedback in the most eloquent of ways. So what I asked was, who do you think
You
did
don't
best?
say eloquent in the most eloquent of ways.
Oh, thank you. Eloquent. What's wrong with the way that I say eloquent?
You'll,
Eloquent.
You'll hear.
Eloquent.
You'll hear. Next.
Anyway, I asked, who did you think did the best? And the teacher said, so-and-so did the best. And so I wanted to push a bit more because so-and-so was not me. And so I wanted to find out what...
Now, was so-and-so, does so-and-so have a surname, or is his first name so and his second name and so?
No, first name so, middle name and last name so.
Oh, he's one of these people who
From a long
gives
line.
his full name.
From a long line of so's. That's probably why he came first.
My name's so.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, so I asked...
and so.
I followed the question up with, well, who then did worse? Who did the worst?
Out of 3 people,
Out of 6 people.
out of 6 people,
Because there's 3 on either side.
you needed
did the
to
worst?
know.
The teacher said, "You, Roger."
You know what? It could have just been a teaching moment.
A
How
teaching moment.
insensitive to ask who did the worst when, if that person wasn't you, Roger, they may have felt bad,
Oh, that's a
being
very interesting perspective.
identified by the teacher. So perhaps you hadn't performed worst that night, but she decided, you know
to
what?
teach me a lesson.
You who performed so brilliantly until now have performed worst because you have tarnished the meaning of debating, which is, at its root, I believe, a camaraderie.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. I've
I
never
don't-
thought of it from that
And
way
you know
before.
what? You know what? I was that teacher. Yeah. I've been waiting all this time.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, now what do
Yeah,
you
all
think
this
of
time I've
yourself?
been thinking I'm bad at debate. I quit public speaking after that. Never spoke a public word in my life.
No, I've never heard you speak.
Nope.
Not once.
Nope. Only in private.
And all because...
And all along, I was actually amazing, but I was just rude.
Yep, you never know.
Wow. There you go. So I thought that she was behaving out of line, but it turns out I'm the one behaving out of line.
So, people behaving oddly.
People behaving oddly. It turns out I was the one behaving oddly in this
Okay,
situation.
well, that was...
Interesting.
What a
segment.
segment.
Now, Sam,
Let's
I believe
come
you
back
have a
to that.
story for us about people behaving oddly.
Yeah, so this hairdresser this morning was cutting my hair, and she said, just right out of the blue, partway through...
You've said this one. Let's go to another one.
Do you like the length of your sideburns? And I was like, I have not considered that before. Okay.
You just defer to their recommendations. Like, well, what do you think? Like, they're a professional. They do this for a living.
Yeah, well, I wish they would take even more responsibility.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, I agree, but I would also like to not have to say anything.
Well, you
because
just turn
it's
up and like,
impossible.
give me a haircut.
Just make my hair look less bad. That's all I want to say.
Go to a barber
But then
and
they
they do
go
that. I've done that.
scissors or trimmers on the side. I don't know what
I've done
those
that.
words
I
mean.
went to a barber in Morocco, and he didn't really speak any English, so I just sat down. He gave me probably one of the best haircuts I've ever had.
There you go.
Yeah,
The system
the
works.
system works. So here's an option. Pretend that you don't speak English next time you go for a haircut.
The old knock knock.
That was me snipping my fingers in the air. For listeners.
The old snipper snoo.
Snipperoo.
Let's go to a song, I think.
Let's.
It's been a while. This is Benches by Velociraptor. Now, Roger,
Sam.
the rains are coming in.
Are they?
The rains are coming in,
Yep.
as they always do this time of year,
Marsh.
to relieve
The heat.
the heat.
Yep.
And
Back on
so
the
it
weather.
is. As the rain relieves the heat, it also relieves us from another week of Halcyon Daze. What a relief. There were a number of characters who graced us with the significance, the awesomeness of their life. What a moment. What a moment in history. What a moment in Halcyon Daze. What a moment.
Until next time.
I'm out of words.
Yeah.
You got anything?
No.
Okay.
We're wrapping it up. Until next time.
Words over. Till next week.
Thanks, guys.
Me, Sam
See you then.
Paul, Roger, and Valence. Halcyon Daze.